Talk to us about just how quickly Bezos' wealth has ballooned as the stock has run up in just the last 3 years.
It's been absolutely incredible. I've been watching it for those whole 3 years, and he's now got a $160 billion fortune, which was big enough at the start of the year at $100 billion. And you go back a few years, it was sort of in the low tens. And that's basically been exactly tracking Amazon's share price, which is up, I think, 74% alone this year. For a company of that size, it's pretty unprecedented.
And it's not just Bezos, but his family, who has also made out, I believe, both of his parents invested in the company, his siblings invested in the company. To what end?
Yeah, it's, investing in Amazon as early as they were able to. This is sort of at a share price of 20 cents a share or something, and you're now looking at over $2,000 a share. It's one of the all-time great investments. So as a family, they need no more assistance, I think. They're just trying to work out how they can give away their money fast enough to keep pace with this, this great growth.
How does the speed with which they've accumulated this wealth compare to other very wealthy founders like Mark Zuckerberg, like the founders of Google, like Bill Gates?
In terms of the absolute numbers, there's like no comparison. So Jeff Bezos is actually the richest person in modern history. So you go back to what Bill Gates was doing with Microsoft in sort of the early 2000s. He did hit $100 billion. That would be worth, in sort of real terms today, about 140, 150 billion. Bezos is blown by that. And in terms of just sheer billions being accumulated, there's really nothing in history to compare.
So, Tom, what are the risks here? He's got a lot of money, he's investing in a lot of things, he's got his philanthropic efforts, he's got his space company, Blue Origin. What are the risks once your fortune gets so large?
Well, the biggest risk for Bezos is he's just not diversified at all. Something like more than 95% of his fortune is in one stock. So in the case of Amazon, this has worked out perfectly. But when I speak to wealth advisors, they would have their head in their hands for an ordinary kind of wealthy person. They would be begging them to, hey, sell more stock, which Bezos really doesn't do apart from to fund Blue Origin, which is probably one of the few riskier things you can find out there. That is a space exploration company. So that's part of the reason he's had such mammoth returns. Just purely from a risk-reward perspective, it's very, very risky.